Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. Today is our NFL team preview as we preview the Buffalo Bills out of the AFC North. If you like the video today, please comment and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner, and joining me today is a young man. What can I say? He's royalty when you think about the National Football League. He was a two-time All-American at Florida State University. First-round selection in the 1981 draft. Some consider the greatest draft ever. We argue about it all the time, me and Brother Butler. But he was the 25th pick by the Atlanta Falcons, my man Bobby Butler. So one more time, if you like our video today, please come in and share it. As we're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills, the hometown of Rick James. How you doing, Brother Butler?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Hey, Rick James, super freak. Well, I tell you, there's some freakish things going on in Buffalo. I can say that today, right?
Yes,
well,
sir.
Let me say this. Head coach Sean McDermott, is building a great team. The last 2 out of the last 3 years, he's been in the playoffs, Vincent, right? Last year, it was a tremendous year. I think it was a tremendous step in the right direction. They had a 10-6 regular season, but they lost a great game. It was a great game, man, in the wild card race against the Texans. They lost that game 22-19 in overtime. So they're heading in the right direction. I know the people of Buffalo have been waiting a long time to get back on that certain level, right, that they did in the early 80s. And so let's start with the young man that was drafted a year or 2 years ago by the name of Josh Allen, right? Josh Allen is a big, mobile, and Vince, I like to say he's what you call a gamer, right? You got a few guys in the leagues, man, that can pull rabbits out of a hat, and he's one of them. Now, Steve Grogan, Dak Prescott, and Cam Newton and Lamar Jackson were the only NFL quarterbacks with 20 passing touchdowns and 12-plus rushing TDs in their first 2 seasons, right? And so Josh Allen is in that group. That's a small collective group when you talk about the history of the NFL, man. So that's powerful, right? Last year, he tied, listen at this now, he tied with Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson for the most game-winning drives in 2019 with 5. And here's the thing I love about this guy. I'm going to tell you something, Vincent. Now, I watched Lamar Jackson play. We know you can't stop Lamar Jackson when he put the ball on the ground and start running. And I'm gonna say it again. You can't stop Josh Allen when he starts running around. He is great with his feet, man. He's impossible to stop. But here's what I love about him. He also has tremendous ball skills and deep ball throwing. So he can throw that ball down the field like anybody else in the National Football League. So, hey, man, only thing I can say about him, he's going to only get better and better. I look at him to improve year in and year out. So they got a big-time quarterback to take them in the future. I like that. But the only thing they can do to make him better, Vincent, is add toys to the room, right? And so they already had 2 receivers that did a great job last year, but they added Stephon Diggs out of Minnesota to the wide receiver room. All right. Then they already had John Brown. And see, John Brown, listen at this now. Y'all know he from Homestead, Florida, right? And you know, like I tell y'all, these college coaches, if you want talent, send your best recruiter down there and sit on the number 2, number 3, number 4 guy. So he couldn't even get a scholarship in the state of Florida. He went all the way to Pittsburgh State Mars Hill. Have y'all ever heard of that school? I don't think so, right? So he went up there and made a name for himself, ended up being a 3rd-round pick a couple years ago and one of the most dynamic young receivers in the National Football League right now. He can flat out take the top off of it. I think last year he caught like 72 balls. He had like 1,000 yards, about 6 TDs last year. And then you add that nifty rapper. Y'all don't know he's a rapper. You can call him Ice Baby. You can call him Vanilla Ice. You can call him Eminem. You can call him Slim Shady. But Cole Beasley is the most prolific slot receiver in the league. He's nifty. He's crafty. And so now you add Those guys, John Brown, Cole Beasley, and Stephon Diggs in the same room. Let me say it like this, Vincent. Wow. That's all we can say. And then here's what I like. Their tight end last year, Dawson Knox, had a great rookie campaign. Last season, he had 28 catches, 388 yards, and a couple TDs. He's 6'4", 254 pounds. Every quarterback needs a tight end. And he's young and he's going to grow with Josh Allen. I can't wait to see that continued development. Then, in the running back room, they got this young guy named Devin Singletary. Wasn't he sensational last year? He did his thing last year. And here's what I love about him. He can score from anywhere on the football field. He can score from anywhere. You know, when you look at a good back, Vincent, for a good back, you're just looking for a guy who can do things 5 yards. If he can do things 4 to 5 yards, oh, we got something. But this guy can do things 4 to 5 yards, and he can go 99, you know, if he have to. I like that. But not only just him, they've got a running back room. So they drafted in the 3rd round, they drafted Zach Moss out of Utah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to let you know, he's from the 305. He's a South Florida boy as well. Now, here's what I like, right? Now, he don't have the strikeout ability, you know, like Devin does, but they got to have yin with the yang. He's a power back. He's a bruiser. He's what I call, Vincent, I'm going to call him the bull in the ring, that nobody's going to want to tackle because he's going to bring the thunder with him every time he carries the ball. And then you add some insurance policy with TJ Yeldon. Let's say it again. We say this almost every video. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. So they have a great running back room. They got skill position at the running back position. They got skill guys in the wide receiver room. They got a great young quarterback. And here's what make it all work. This nimble, athletic offensive line that general manager Brandon Beane has built in just 1 year. He's built it in 1 year. And like I tell you before, the thing about offensive linemen is chemistry. It's chemistry. And boy, did they have that last year. All right. And, you know, all those guys are returning to the unit are center Mitch Morris, guards Quentin Spain, John Feliciano. Now John he's going to be out 8 to 12 weeks to a pectoral injury, but he'll be back. But they got depth in the room. Young tackles, Deion Dawkins, Cody Ford, Ty Nsuki, right? Who's a free agent, Darrell Williams. They add depth on the line. So listen, man, this offense is going to only grow in 2020. I look for them to do great things. And then when we go on the other side of the ball, oh my. Defensive coordinator, Leslie Frazier. Listen, man, he has built a nasty defense. And this is what I like about him. This is what I like about him, Vincent, is that he's got a nasty 4-3 defense, but he plays it with a mixture of zone coverage in his secondary. He can go and get the quarterback, but he don't expose his secondary, right? And so he's a guy who knows what he's doing, right? And so I like that. So let's talk about the defensive front. Defensive end, Mario Addison, right? Was picked up from the Panthers, right? Over the last 4 seasons, he has had 9 sacks per season. That's called production right there, Vincent. Then you got Jerry Hughes, very dependable veteran. Look for 2nd round pick, AJ Expensa, to cut out Iowa to come in and make this defense part of his own. And he's going to be an explosive player. Then you got add defensive tackle Ed Oliver. He'll hold down a spot, right? And then you got Star Lotulelei, you know, who is a space eater. See, when you have D tackles and nose guards, Vincent, they got to be space eaters. They got to keep the offensive line off the linebacker group, right? But he decided he's going to sit out because of COVID. That's okay. But they got Harrison Phillips is fully recovered from his injury a year ago. He's ready to come back in a big way. But here's what I love. These linebackers that the Bills have, right? Last year, heart and soul, Lorenzo Alexander, you know, he left. But here's what I love. They got a future superstar in the making. You know, this guy right here, you know, I'm telling you, he's a monster. Remember this name, Tremaine Edmonds, one of the Edmonds brothers, one of the sons of Pharaoh Edmonds, one of the great tight ends from the Miami Dolphins, out of the University of Maryland back in the day. He was a #1 pick in 2018. He has the freakish size, man. 6'5", 250 pounds with athleticism. He's not just a big guy, Vincent. He's athletic. You know, they can move Trey over to the other side of the ball at tight end, and he'll be an all-pro. That's what kind of athleticism he has. And then along with Trey, you got Matt Milano. He had 101 tackles last year. He was second behind Trey in tackles with 115 last year. And then AJ Klein, another former Panther, right, will take Lorenzo Alexander's place. Hey, look, man, this defense is fantastic. And here we go in the secondary. I love it. They're led by Pro Bowl player, corner, Tre'Davious White. LSU, talking about the SEC again, Vincent. Here we go. Levin Wallace was an undrafted free agent who really played extremely well last year on the right side. But he's going to have a little competition this year because they got an old crafted, old pro veteran that came to camp by the name of Josh Norman. Everybody should know that name. Carolina Panther, Washington Redskin, right? He can get under your skin at the cornerback position. I like him. He'll challenge for that job, you know, at the right corner. Then you got Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. Both of those guys make a great safety tandem, right? So this defense, man, is stellar, right? They lost some key players, but they gained some things, Vincent. I like the Buffalo Bills. I like the direction they're going in. This team is on a team on the rise. They will be better than 10-6 this year, and they're coming back with a vengeance because they have arrived.
I totally agree with you, man. First of all, I think hats need to go to the head man in charge, Sean McDermott. Mm-hmm. I didn't see it coming. Mm-hmm. But he's one of the upcoming young coaches in the game that's built on both the offense and defensive side of the ball. Brandon Beane is an upcoming general manager. Yes. And they landed in a city of Buffalo, New York. That's a city that's known for football. I know some great people from Buffalo. Hello today, Mr. Wayne Solomon. Hello today, Mr. Guy Lee. Hello today, Mr. Gary Flakes. Some outstanding brothers come out of Buffalo. And you know me and you, Brother Butler, we outstanding kind of guys that go back old school, old music-wise. One of the greatest entertainers that I love to death, especially when I was in college, the great legend Rick James, who was born in Buffalo, New York.
Yes, sir.
So when you look at this city, you look at this organization, the first mind comes to me, the Buffalo Bills. They the favorites in the AFC East. But you know, I always go back down memory lane. You think about the Bills, Gookie Gilchrist, Jack Kemp.
Yes.
The young man out of Galileo High School by way of San Francisco Community College, O.J. Simpson. Then the Bills of the 90s, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Andrew Reed, Bruce Smith, Darryl Talley. Then you come up to now. This is a well-balanced football team. I really don't see no weaknesses. Quarterback is in place. All he has to improve is his accuracy. Who remembers me of a guy that's got the same type of running skills, but a better arm? Brother, but let's go back to the mid-70s. Remember Bobby Douglas, the left-hander that was with the Chicago Bears?
Chicago Bears, absolutely.
Same statue, same type of ability, but a better passer. The running game is strong. The two Florida guys, Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. Then you got Roll Tide, TJ Yeldon, as you said. The offensive line is young and strong. The receiver core, when they got Stephon Diggs, all I have to say is this. Those three last year, Stephon Diggs, John Brown, and Cole Beasley combined, 202 catches, 2,900 yards, and 18 touchdowns.
Wow.
Now you got Josh Allen throwing you the ball.
Yeah.
Then on the defensive side, to me, their D-line reminds me of that Seattle D-line a couple years ago in 2013 when the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, when they had Cliff Abram, Chris Clemens, Tony McDaniel. So much firepower, coached by one who's over here in Atlanta, Mr. Dan Quinn. Man,
Yes.
think about what they got on the D-line.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned all those great players, as you just said, Brother Butler, but you forgot to mention the main stud. He got in a little trouble all season. But that young man, who ever since he stepped on the field and playing football and stepped over at the University of Houston and turned all those
Yes,
Power
he
5
did.
schools, you forget
Yes.
about Ed Oliver.
I forgot about Ed Oliver. How did I forget him?
And then they brought another quality football player, the young man out there in Seattle that was balling, Mr. Quentin Jefferson.
Yeah, they did.
Man, they're 9 deep on the D-line.
Wow.
Then and then you talking about your man, I'm gonna call him Mr. Edmonds. 6'5", 250. You already talked about how great an athlete he was. I'm gonna leave you with this one major stat: 115 tackles last year.
That's right.
115 tackles last year, 6'5", 250.
Mm-hmm.
And then the secondary, Tre'Davious White. I know
Yeah.
Florida State is DBU. Brother Butler, LSU is closing the gap. He was the best DB last year. He led all corners. Only 38% passes were completed on him.
That's right.
Then to me, they got the 2 best safeties in the game, Mr. Hyde and Mr. Porter.
Mm-hmm.
And that defense, let me get this right, because I know I got a gentleman that's watching today, Mr. Mark Bass. And I know I got a lot of SWAC people watching, especially down in Mississippi. Let me get this right. Mr. Leslie Frazier out of Alcorn State.
That's right.
And we know how powerful they are from a football tradition. And then Mr. Frazier was part of that 1985 defense that led the league in the sacks and was considered one of the greatest. And his teammates were Otis Wilson, Dan Hampton, and you should know about the Chicago Bears. So when you look at the Buffalo Bills, man, they are a complete football team, but the one component, you got everything in place. Defense, receivers, running backs, but it's still going to be about that young man from Wyoming, Josh Allen.
It is.
Can he be more accurate throwing the football? And to me, that keeps Buffalo from being a borderline playoff team to them being a Super Bowl contender. It's all about Josh Allen, man.
Right.
Him improving throwing the football, because now he's got, as you say, the toys around him. I love what Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane are doing with their organization. That is a class organization. And roster from player number 1 to player 53, they're more talented in roster in the National Football League. And to me, I know Bill Belichick is doing a great thing over New England. He's got 6 Super Bowl titles. Then brought Cam the Bam Newton. This to you, Coach Jones. But I'm taking the Buffalo Bills to win the AFC East and make some serious noise in the AFC. And the Kansas City Chiefs, I know y'all won the Super Bowl last year, but you better watch that team, because as a great Rick James is saying, the Super Freaks are coming. Super Freaks are coming out of Baltimore. Final words on the Buffalo Bills, Brother Butler.
Well, this is why I disagree with you. They will not win the division this year. They're going in they're going in the right direction. I think New England with Belichick, from a defensive standpoint, will know how to understand how to stop, Mr. Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a lot to deal with. I'm going to tell you, because he's a big, mobile guy, and I'm telling you, he'll hurt you on the ground. But I think Bill Belichick is still going to do his thing from a defensive standpoint. But I do look for the Buffalo Bills to continue to grow. I wouldn't be surprised if they won the division. I just personally don't think they'll do it quite yet, but they are headed in the right direction. They are a playoff team, and they won't get beat this year in the first round, Vincent.
My final words, as I always like to send out love. Before I start, I left some names off in our previous video. Of course, we wouldn't be here with the young man out of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Mr. Jeremiah Long, our producer. As you see the great graphics, him producing shows. What more can I say? Much love to him. And to my man, y'all never seen him. He does a lot of work behind the scenes. He really keeps me in line, because I wouldn't be here where I am today. Out of Brooklyn, New York, Brownsville section, same area as Mike Tyson, my man. Much love to Ronnie Keebler. And to Brother Butler, My final was and also too much love to my hometown, the 901. I can't go without saying that. The 901, baby, Memphis, Tennessee. But to you, Brother Butler, I'm still gonna disagree with you. I'm taking the Bills because, like the great Rick James, they're gonna be busting out L7, baby, when the season get kicked off. Rick James and the Buffalo Bills, I'm taking them all away. But if you like the video today, please come in and share. We are 100 yards of football, and as I'm gonna end the videos. Quiet.